Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight. It is going to be an awesome stream for you guys. You're going to get to talk to Pete and also bringing in Prof. Gertis. And now Pete and Prof. Gertis are officially meeting for the first time via the stream, and you guys are going to watch it. So it's super cool. I am wearing my Project Konstantin shirt, and tonight, the patch of the night, I'll let Pete tell you about this one, but this is a special one that Pete gave me. We wear matching patches with Hermina. So guys, this is going to be fantastic. We're not going to waste any time. We're not talking about news. Once I roll these two guys in here, we'll get talking. I'm going to post in the chat. Yana is in here helping with the chat. And additionally, I'm going to try tonight. The first thing Andrew Mercado taught me last night was posting a question during a live stream. I didn't even know how to do it. So we'll try it. Can't get to everybody's questions. Of course, can't discuss technicalities, any of that stuff. But if there's a question that you have for Pete, you can put it in there. And if we can get to it, we will. So without further ado, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribe to Prof. Gertis, subscribe to Project Konstantin and their YouTube. And thank you for being here on ours as well. Away we go. Welcome to you fellas tonight. Pete, welcome.
Good evening, Greg Terry. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening, all you beautiful people. Good evening, Professor Gertis. How are you guys?
I'm happy to be here. Like Greg was saying, meeting for the first time. I'm very happy to see you. I've seen you on the streams, but I haven't actually gotten to meet you until 5 minutes ago. And the very first thing that Pete says to me is, "Oh, thank you for all you do." I'm thinking, like, that doesn't compute. Like, I'm doing that much compared to what you're doing on the front line. So I'm in awe being able to get to chat with you.
Thank you, Professor. It's very, very kind words. And it's an absolute pleasure and an honor to meet you. You know, I feel like part of, after you've been here for a while, how can I put this? The it's the wrong word, but the fanfare of having been here for a couple of years, that all goes away. And I've been there. I'm just struggling for want of a better word right now. But I just feel like a regular person. I really, really do. When I sit here and I watch the amazing projects that you guys are bringing together out there, I'm sitting back thinking, you guys are forces of nature. You are soldiers of God. You're awe-inspiring to me, and I defer to you guys because you are doing such powerful work here. You know, we are tied by orders and regulations and constraints of various nature, but you guys are just out there smashing it, man, and it's really awesome. And I'm so proud to know you, and I'm so honored to know you, both of you. Thank you for what you're doing. Pleased to meet you.
Let me just tell you guys this before we go. So I'm trying this question thing. If you have a question for Peter, I think you just click the link up there in the YouTube chat where I have pinned, and you can pop your question there, because without that, I'm not going to be able to keep up with it, because I really want to stay focused on here. Pete, before we go any further, and we will look at just two technical things, and then it's just chatting with you tonight. You want to tell everybody about the Criminaya patch? This is the patch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that always brings such warm smiles to my heart. There is a famous patch that's been doing the rounds in Ukraine for months, more than a year. It's refers to Donbass. Donbass, this massively contested. Well, it's not contested. It's stolen territory. And anybody who's fought in Donbass is either gifted or is able to purchase a patch, and the name is Donbassonia. So it's like a new. If you're from New York, you're a New Yorker, but if you fought in Donbass, you're a Donbassonia. And the same now recently, Kremina Forest has been such a pivotal point. Such a massively hot area, and I spent over a year there myself. And Tatiana spent many months there together. And one day, a a Ukrainian drone pilot who asked me if he could sleep in my bunker for a few nights because they were digging their own bunker. His call sign is Africa, and he gifted me a Kreminonia patch, and it's just such a cool thing to have, man. Because when a Ukrainian soldier gives you something like that, it has wonderful meaning. And we're part of the furniture in that forest, you know. We call it the magical forest, and I gifted one to Greg because he gave me the "In God We Trust" patch, which I wear everywhere I go. I don't have it on tonight.
And
Thank
in
you.
case you guys are wondering, maybe you're saying, okay, well, where is Pete talking about this Kremina patch and Kremina forest? I will just show you here tonight. It's just talking about Pete, but I want you to know, here's Kramatorsk, Slavyansk.
Yeah.
Here is Chasiv Yar. The Kremina forest is right here.
Yeah,
that's what he's
it's
talking
gigantic.
about. It is.
It's a massive national forest, and those trees. I've said this countless times. If I were to write 2 books, one of them would the one I'm going to be writing is going to be called The Forest Medics of Ukraine. But if I could write another one, it'll be called The Murder of the Trees, or How the Trees Saved Our Lives, because those trees have received so many incoming mortars, hundreds, if not thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of incoming rounds and mortars have been caught by those trees. I mean, there are millions of trees there. Millions of them are still standing, but many more millions, I believe, have now been wiped out. But every incoming round gets caught. Most of them get caught by trees, and they're lifesavers. It's a magical forest. Yeah,
It's like something out of a Tolkien novel, right? I mean, we already use the illusion of orcs, but wow.
Yes. Yeah. It's. I mean, I can take you to places in that forest where there are helicopter rockets and tank rounds wedged in trees, and there's perfectly round holes. There's one of my favorite spots in the forest, right outside our old bunker. There are 2 trees, a couple of meters behind each other, and one of them's got a semicircle hole in it, and the one behind it has got the semicircle. The trees are slightly misaligned. So this tree's got a 180 degree hole in it, and the tree behind it has got the other. The 2 together. So this one's got a semicircle, that one's got a semicircle, and you can look through them and see this perfect hole where a tank round passed through these 2 trees. It's quite neat.
Additionally, there are places in that forest, and these trees are large, guys. This is a huge forest, old growth, where they're gone, and it's just destroyed.
Wasteland.
Pete, before we go into some questions, and guys, if you're in the chat and you're using the question function, it's working. They're populating over here. I will ask some to Pete.
Wow.
Pete, how about this T-shirt here? And you can see
the one you're wearing.
Yeah, you got.
In God we fear not, for I am with you.
Okay.
Isaiah 41:10. Project Konstantin T-shirt.
Tell everybody about this T-shirt.
I'm so chuffed to see you wearing that, Greg. Yvette from Stafford.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Being a medic, countless soldiers, so many soldiers get into the back of our brought to us, and as we're evacuating them from the front lines, we're cutting off their clothing to expose their wounds, to treat them, and I got tired of handing over soldiers in the dead of night, all times of the day, really. And these are cold soldiers, and we're wrapping them in emergency blankets, and we're handing them over to the paramedics who are on. So once we've evacuated away from the front, 14 kilometers through the Kremina forest, to the awaiting paramedics on the road ambulances, handing them over sometimes with no clothing on their bodies because we've cut it all off. And these guys have lost so much. They've either lost limbs, they've lost friends, they've lost commanders, they've lost comrades, they've lost brothers, and the look of just destitution and those horrible looks that you have from an injured soldier, fear, wanting to give them something, a bit of hope, something to take home with them, something to make them feel better. And I put it out to our group, our Project Konstantin supporters group on our group. It's called Partisans, on our WhatsApp chat group. And Yvette said, "I'll make something for you," and she did. On the front it says, Fear not, for I am with you. Isaiah 41:10. And on the back it says, Great Britain loves Ukraine. God bless you and be safe. And of course on the front it says, it's got this Project Konstantin patch, the Ukrainian patch, and the Union Jack. And we
I'm
usually
the model.
only give them to injured soldiers. It's a very rare occasion that I'll give one away.
I believe,
very
unless
special
Pete has
people.
changed it, I am the only uninjured person in the world to have one.
Hang on to that record.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And we got to add Greg, and we got to add Profesco just to that.
I'll bring him one back when we get there soon. But you put on these guys some dignity. They've been wounded. They're fearful.
Yeah.
They're bleeding. They're in shock. We don't even think about the shock. And you cut their clothes off and put on another shirt, man. That's legendary. So thank you.
Yeah.
I want to show two things news-wise, and then the questions are rolling. Prof. Curtis, you as well, whatever you want to talk to Pete about tonight. But I can tell you guys, huge attack last night. Interesting. It was on the same day as Victory Day and right after the presidential inauguration. And just remember, the Soviet system, the Kremlin, that mentality, and I do call it the Soviet system, they love anniversaries and dates and very superstitious. So this strike last night at the end of my stream, I said the Tupolovs are in the air. And then I did the Ukraine update with Andrew Mercado for a couple of hours. We had a great time and we watched the map light up. And I said, guys, I think it's coming tonight. And then we see the results of it. 39 out of 55 missiles, 20 out of 21 Shaheed. So 39 taken out. That means 16 hit plus deflections and 1 Shaheed with the direct hit. I can tell you Lviv was hit. I can tell you also Ivano-Frankivsk. Yeah, right below Lviv, there is, it's common knowledge, massive gas storage tanks under the ground, plus massive thermal power plants and power productions in that region. And it was a direct hit. On that, you see the yellow coming across the map. That was the hypersonic Kinjal or the dagger, and it was a direct hit on that infrastructure. Additionally, to the right, Vinica was hit, Kropotnitsky was hit, Zaporizhia and Poltava. And you can see the flight patterns. The light blue are the Shaheeds, and then the red and the blue are different types of calibers and cruises, and the yellow is the hypersonic. So today, Ukraine saying there's going to be power outages, there's going to be rotation schedules, and this is where we're at, and it's only May the 8th, moving into a hot summer season. Last two things, and back to questions. The Rada adopted the bill on mobilization today, right here. This one, right? No, the first one, this one. They approved the presidential decree on the extension of martial law and general mobilization for 90 days until August the 11th. That's actually the voting board, 338 za, 0 protiv. That means 338 for it, 0 against it, 1 no vote, and then 12 no voice. And then here we have the same thing. This is on adopting the bill of mobilization for criminals. And guys, every nations do that. And in this bill, Ukraine will not be mobilizing murderers, rapists, all of that mess. This is
attempted murderers.
Murderers. It's white collar crimes and your basic theft, et cetera, et cetera. So don't go crazy on that one. So that's all the news I want to talk about. And let's get back to Pete. Here's the first question from Jason Thomas. Pete, how many hours a day in days per week do you work?
Hi, Jason. Good evening to you, sir. Typically, when we're on the front lines, it's usually 4 days on, 4 days off. But that varies. Sometimes it's 2 days on, 2 days off. And when you're at work permanently, Jason. There are quiet times. You leave 11 o'clock at night till about 4 o'clock in the morning when you're able to catch some shut-eye. Even evil orcs need to sleep. So yeah, usually when you're on the front, you're at work permanently. It's very little sleep. It's snippets of sleep here. It's 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Yeah, Jason, 4 days on, 4 days off.
Prof. Curtis,
And
anything you want to interrupt, just interrupt.
So my first interruption is I have a hard stop at 1/4 because I'm actually physically in the classroom that I'll be teaching in.
We are only going to 1/4. This man is up in the middle of the night. So Professor Gertis is actually in his classroom. The only thing that would make this better if he had a sweater vest on, but it is warm.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Yeah. Okay, question from Deborah.
I do have
okay, go ahead. No,
I do have a question for you, Pete. I'm curious how you triage your own physical and mental health, because you have to be okay in order to treat others, and being on and on and on and on has to wear on you. So how do you keep yourself fresh enough so that you're able to be helpful to everyone else?
Yeah. Physically, it's very difficult because when we're on the front, we're typically holed up in a very small bunker that's usually overpopulated. The bunkers are typically designed to house approximately 4 people. So you'll have a bunker with 4 beds in it. But this will often be a triage point. It'll be a stabilization point. And sometimes other bunkers will get destroyed. And then we'll have double the amount of staff in there. So bunkers...
We'll get him back. So, Professor Gertis, he'll be back. Actually, there's a good question over on your chat. There he is.
So physically, it's very hard to stretch or lie down, usually. Mentally, that's there's only one way that I cope, and that's through God. I get my mental and emotional and spiritual strength all from the Lord Jesus, and there's nothing else. There is nothing else out there that can help you. Nobody. I speak English. There's hardly ever an English speaker around me. Somebody you can shoot the breeze with or have a chin wag with, as they say. But Professor, I seem to cope okay. It is tough. Whenever the tough point, it's an interesting question. When you're there, you become it's like you switch into overdrive. Mm-hmm. Everything else becomes secondary. Nothing. The whole world falls away behind you. That mission. Life becomes so simple when you're a frontline soldier or a frontline medic. Life is so simple. You've got the man next to you, and you've got the enemy in front of you. And that's all you literally have to worry about. It's quite relaxing because there's not a lot to think about. You have to think about the enemy and their fire, and you have to think about the man.
I can remember, Pete, the night I was at your place and you got called out, emergency, and you basically came to my bed and said, "I've got to go. I'll be back."
Yeah.
And you rolled out. Yeah. In 7 or 8 hours, you came back in, and I'm sitting in the kitchen, and you come in, and this is what you said. And listen, I'm 6'4", so Pete's about 9'3". Okay, he's a giant of a man. and Pete goes. He came around the corner, and he goes, "I need a hug." And you gave the hug. I gave the hug, and it was, it was a war hug, guys. Strong embrace, and it was a long-lasting hug. And then we sat down, had a cup of coffee. So it's important to have that. Pete, let's go to this.
That's actually that's a good coping mechanism. Actually, believe it or not, is the hug. Hugs are very important to me. Thank you.
I've got one more question, and then I'll not ask questions, but I would like to know what has happened with morale pre U.S. finally ponying up the $61 billion package, and afterwards, was there a measurable effect that you saw, or tell us how you experienced that watching what was going on in the U.S.
Excuse me. We haven't seen it. Okay, so everybody's waiting for this package. There's a lot of hope riding on this package, right? This is not pre-decision day. The other day, everybody's ping on the one bit of. I haven't had many. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be blunt with you guys now. I want to give you a big, positive, bright, cheerful, but I can't. And if I did, I'd be lying. The truth is, folks, this package is very much needed. We do need it. I have seen some trucks. I'm in the west of Ukraine right now. We've come here for a bit of a rest. Let's call it that. Yeah, we've come here for a reason. Thank you. I can't get into that reason, but let's just call it a rest for now. And on the way, and about 5 days ago, I was heading out here from the east, and I saw convoys of cars coming in, being escorted by blue lights police convoys, and they were big, heavy trucks, well sealed up, tinted windows. So aid is arriving. It started, which is and there were long, slow tailbacks of cars queuing up behind them as these trucks are trudging up and down the hills and the highways of Ukraine, and it filled me with a lot of hope. I haven't heard any positive comments from hardly anybody. I've hardly heard any positive comments because, and this is why, and it's all because of this horrible reason. God help me. I do not wish to sound ungrateful, guys, but here it is. It's not enough. It's a drip in the ocean. Mm-hmm. This war is a case of, yes, a little bit of aid. Yeah, you go and defend the city for a couple of weeks or a few weeks, and now then it's all going to dry out again, and then we're back in the same boat again. It's like hold the line for a little bit and then get pushed back a bit more. Hold the line for a little bit and get back. It's the brutality out here. It is far worse than what you guys ever could possibly grasp out there with the TV and with the media coverage that you get. They're where I am and where what I'm experiencing, I haven't heard a lot of positive rejoicing about it, Professor. I have to be honest.
People get on me quite often on my channel, and they still stick with me and appreciate I'm giving them, your information, okay? Nothing private or hidden, but this is what I tell people, and they get frustrated with me sometimes. Okay, well, Greg, what are you, against Ukraine? No, I'm not against Ukraine. I risked my life to go there, but I'm telling you the reality. These places are being smashed. We do not have enough supply. And then just like Pete said, when we go and hold a town 3-4 weeks, we're losing high-level soldiers that are being replaced with lower-level soldiers or not replaced at all, and we're having a net negative. So it has to be changed. That pushes me to this question. And you're not Ukrainian. You're South African, British, and now adopted Ukrainian. So mobilization is a major problem right now. Yes or no?
Yes.
It's a struggle. And I actually had somebody put a comment, and if you're here tonight, I did see it, and I wrote it down on my notepad of topics to discuss. And it was a great comment because I keep talking about mobilization. I'm a firm believer. You can have enough supply to float a battleship, but if you don't have soldiers, who's going to shoot them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
So the question came, Greg, would you mind talking to Zhenya or some Ukrainians and explain to the world how mobilization works? Instead of just telling us it's struggling, explain it to us. So that will be coming in the future.
Yeah, and you can't plan without... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Professor. Please go ahead.
I'm just saying, like the drip, drip, drip has been so. It's almost like it's been calculated to keep. And they haven't done this, but it's almost like it's calculated to keep them from being able to succeed because you can't plan with material you don't have. If you don't know that you're going to have certain weapons, you can't do what you need to do.
Yes. Thank you for saying it. Thank you. I love you. I respect you. High five, high 10. Thank you for saying it. It's almost like it's being planned by God. You have hit the nail on the head there. It's in some weeks. If you are silent in the face of aggression, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. This is drip drab. Somebody broke it down the other day. $60 billion. Thank you, America, for this wonderful package. It is huge. It is massive. I know the world. I know that your nation is struggling financially. Thank you, good old Uncle Sam. I really appreciate it. We all do. But the entire planet Earth needs to come to this party, folks. Somebody broke down the costs of these missiles. It's something like $6 billion just for one Patriot battery, and then it's the ammo. It is stupidly expensive. Weapons are ridiculously expensive. $61 billion it's a scratch on the shoulder of a giant. It really is. It's a scratch. It's a mosquito bite. I'm sorry. I'm not being ungrateful. I'm telling you the facts.
Yeah. If I was building a house or a apartment building or something, and I said, okay, well now, great, we got a new load of bricks and a bunch of 2x4s, and here are some nails, and I think there's some screws and wires. That's good. That'll get us started, but we need to know that we have enough to be able to build the house before we build that, and we're just
amen before the storm comes.
Yeah, we don't have the political will in the West
yet.
You need
to know. You need to what? Yeah, we've got 16. I think there are 16 F-16s on their way. Mm-hmm. Russia's got 1,000 combat-capable jets.
Yep. Okay, Greg, I will not ask other questions so that the audience can.
Feel free to do what you want because, I'm reading the questions over here and actually the conversation is answering a lot of those.
Right. At 5:45, I'm going to magically disappear, but problem. You can keep running on my channel.
Thank you, and I'll end it. Yeah. Thank you. So when you this is why I get frustrated. Ukraine starts putting out, okay, we're going to defend 2024. We're working on mobilization, and spring of 25, we're going to start an offensive. And I'm sitting here logically going, how do you plan an offensive when you have no idea what you will have for that offensive? That's just the thought process. All right, Pete, here's some quick fire questions for you. How difficult, Pete Brady, how difficult is it to get medical supplies to the stabilization points?
Hi, Pete Brady. Good evening, brother. It's very difficult because of the advent of these little. I wanted to use the naughty word there. Of these little. No, not the naughty word. Thank you. Oh, I can swear now.
No.
Because of the. No. Because of the FP, the advent, the massive advent and introduction of thousands and thousands of FPV cars, my brother. Because when any soldiers are now deploying to the front or going forward to rescue soldiers injured or going forward to take it's like this. It used to be a case like this. Okay, boys, we're deploying to the front. Load up the Land Rover, load up the Humvee. Let's go. Oh, don't forget, 3 boxes of tourniquets, 5 boxes of medicine. Throw those in there as well. Nobody wants to take that medicine for the stabilization.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, as soon as we'll get him back.
Can I give an example or an analogy? Remember the game Battleship?
Absolutely.
Greg? Yeah. It's like you're playing Battleship, except you can actually see the other side.
Go ahead, Pete. You disconnected for a second.
Yeah. And as you get out of the car, all you can hear is zoom, 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 the buzzing of these FPV drones lining up or positioning themselves to dive in and kill you. So to take medicine forward to a stabilization point, nobody wants to do it anymore. Soldiers have become... every now and again, when anybody's got the wherewithal to do it, anybody that's alive and's got the pockets and give it to the doctor at the stabilization point. That's how it goes.
And now, one thing that will help is the project we have done for the armored vehicles, and we will be
Doesn't
getting
happen anymore.
the armored vehicles will be helping with the snatches coming to you, Pete. And
Oh yes,
so
massively.
yeah, it'll be
especially
massive
with
help.
especially with the anti-drone systems that you're putting on them.
Oh, and
Gratefully.
by the
Thank you.
way, on the anti-drone systems, and for all you wonderful people out there on my channel, Professor Gertis's channel, who's live right now with me, Johnny, Rick, and the list goes on. Tomorrow morning, 4 of the drone jammers, the latest and greatest, are being ordered from Zhenya and our team to equip the snatches so they're ready the moment we get them into the country. Oh yeah, we ain't playing.
Baby. Thank you, Zhenya. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Professor Gertis.
Here's a personal question for you from Andrea Schoaf. Is there something you miss from South Africa? One thing that you would like to have, or the UK, your home, whatever you consider your home. I know both are.
Yeah, Andrea, walking around barefoot, slips on the beach. From South Africa, and biltong, which is beef jerky. In South Africa, we have beef jerky, which we love. From England, what do I miss in England? My daughter, of course. Yeah, going for walks in the park with my daughter and going to feed the swans at the river. Yeah.
Well,
thanks for mentioning that, Andrea. At least I got my memories.
And you had another question about your daughter from Leslie Bow, so that's answered. Pete, when I get there, you and I will take a walk around the lake and we'll hold hands. And okay,
yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hold both your hands.
I know you will.
We'll go skipping.
How's Mama Rose and her trip back? That is from maybe tomorrow. Mama Rose and her trip out.
Mama Rose is in Bosnia. Mm-hmm. Right now she's in Sarajevo. She landed at Sarajevo today. Ben, our wonderful volunteer medic, he's taken her because I couldn't leave the country. I asked for permission and they said no because it's all hands on deck out here at the moment. Ben's taken her to visit the holy site of Our Lady of Majiagori. This is a place where where Mother Mary presented herself to 6 teenagers in 1981, and it was an apparition, a vision. It was she literally came out, and it's been verified by the Catholic, all the churches. It's recognized around the world, and there have been subsequent appearances by Our Lady. That's where Mom is right now. She went to mass today, and she's going to the holy site tomorrow to pray for peace in Ukraine. She's ecstatic. She's ecstatic. She was driving through the mountains of Bosnia this morning from the airport to the hotel, which is close to the holy site, singing,
awesome.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider. Yeah, she was singing How Great Thou Art. Wow. And I've got a video of that, and it's tear-jerkingly beautiful.
You've got to send me that video.
Amazing.
All right.
Roger that.
This is from Don Gentilini. Don Gentilini was a missionary in Eastern Europe during the Soviet Union, the 80s. Guys, if you ever see Don Gentilini, type into the chat, listen to him. He lived in the Soviet system. Soviet Union is an American. My dear friend, what gave you a love for the Ukrainian people enough to fight in this war?
Don, thank you. I admire your work, brother. Any missionary has my utmost respect and gratitude. What gave me a love? Just repeat that question. What gave me a love?
What has given you this love for the Ukrainian people, Ukrainian land to fight the way you're doing?
They are quite simply the most peaceful, loving, soulful, down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth people that I've ever met in my life. As a nation, they are simple farmers that are salt-of-the-earth people that will give you the shirt off their back. They'll give you their only donkey and cow in their yard, and they are just such simple, beautiful, peaceful, God-fearing people. That's why.
Agreed, 100%. We know real Ukraine, guys. KP, how's your new phone working out, Peter?
It's outstanding. I am the center of jealousy wherever I go. Envy is me. People are envious. Pete's got an iPhone 15. It's brilliant, guys. Thank you. I get a lot of comments from my fellow soldiers because it's an expensive bit of kit that I could never afford. It's absolutely stunning. It's as fast as lightning, and it's got a brilliant camera and microphone. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. You made that
Bless
happen.
you guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
you did.
A message just came from Heidi, and the question one says, "You're doing a great job, Pete. Stay safe."
Thank you, Heidi.
Question coming from Von Rees. Do you feel enough attention is not paid to the situation with the children?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mass graves,
You know,
stealing them, etc.
Mate, you know, the horrible truth about these children is, and you just need to delve a little bit into the dark side of Russian what's the word, Russian, the way that they live. A lot of these children are there for sex slavery, and sex slavery around the world. There's Jim Caviezel recently released a blockbuster movie about child trafficking. And a lot of these children are sex slaves and will be sex slaves, and if they're not already, and besides that, having their histories erased and their futures erased. Nothing has been done about it, and well, I can't say nothing's been done about it, but how can the world sit by when innocent children are abducted on a daily basis and have their histories erased, have their names changed, have their education wiped out of their brains, get propagandized and systematically, forcefully integrated into the Soviet culture or Russian culture? Sorry. It's shocking, it's brutal, and it beguiles belief that the world is allowing this to happen. Places, these territories of Ukraine are being vanquished, and the children are kept alive, and God knows what are happening to the children. The innocent youth of Ukraine is being God knows what's happening to them.
There was some propaganda sent out today, Pete and Prof, on children in Russia drawing pictures, and they were so brutal. But just so you guys know, most likely those children actually didn't draw those pictures. They were very high level, and they're just being used as propaganda to push the narrative, and maybe some did, but a lot, that's how they will weaponize simple children drawings, even with just pure evil. This one's for you, Professor Gertis, from King Dog. Marjorie Taylor Greene just started the process to remove Johnson. The vote is happening or called for. So there you go.
Good. Good. Let her do it and let it not work.
There you go.
That takes all the force out of it.
Agreed.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Pete.
No. Sorry. Forgive me there.
Okay.
Speaking about propaganda, I just saw a clip on Instagram. Do you know what the definition of propaganda is? It's one set of humans creating a belief system that lets another set of humans believe that previous set of humans are not human. Something like that. It's
perfectly stated. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. It is.
I'm going to try and read you the original because I think I screwed that up.
La Plerome, we cannot answer this question, but what is Pete and Greg's assessment of the situation regarding the dissolution of the DUK Corps of the 67th and related accusations? I see you, Pete. We can't answer that question.
I just want to say, sorry. The purpose of propaganda is to make one set of people forget that the other set of people are human. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah.
Now, is the Ukrainian government failing to adequately mobilize and Zelensky losing popularity?
Sorry, there was a delay. Did somebody ask me a question about?
Well, it was about the 67th, and I said we can't answer that.
Yeah, quite right.
That's off. That's untouchable for us.
Not at the moment, no.
No.
Yeah.
Later.
Yes. Later, yes.
Mobilization is a problem, and I will have a video coming out on that from Ukrainian perspective, how it works, governmental views, everything. It'll be coming, guys. General consensus says it sounds like Ukrainian medics and soldiers must purchase a lot of their own medical supplies. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. We get given a very basic set of tools, and as soon as they're destroyed, it's up to us to replace them. It's supplies are. Look, we get given rifles, we get given ammo, we get given basic armored fighting vehicles, but it's everything else that's needed. Anything to make you a streamlined, more effective unit or person needs to be purchased. Ukraine just doesn't have the resources. Remember, when this full invasion started, it barely had an army. They've been completely caught off guard. I've got dentists and computer programmers doing frontline operations with me. These guys have been thrust into this thing, and nobody's able to keep up pace with supply and demand for the equipment out here. The world has been amazing with donating medical equipment and medicine and tourniquets and things like that. They have been amazing, and I applaud all of you people who have been involved in donating medical equipment out here. It's been amazing. There really has been.
Let me explain to you the character of Pete. So Zhenya and I were with Pete in the east, in very hot area, and then we were rotating down to the south to Orikhiv to help a unit down there that fights in Robotny, and they were in desperate need of tourniquets. The guys fighting in Robotny only had one each when they really need 3 to 4 each on their bodies.
Yeah.
They had
That's
one,
right.
and we were gathering some more. You guys purchased them, but before we left, Pete brought this huge bag of supplies and said, "Here, take these tourniquets, take this medicine, take this chocolate, take Project Konstantin supplies, because right now they need that more than where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I have my supply. Take it to those guys." That's the character of Pete that we've partnered
Well done,
with.
Greg.
Well done to you. And Pete, we delivered all of that supply right to the Robotny guys and gave them Project Konstantin stickers and everything. Prof. Curtis, thank you for being here tonight. I'll end the
Thank
show
you,
for
Prof. Curtis.
Yeah, nice
God
to
bless
meet
you,
you.
sir.
All right.
It's an absolute honor to meet you, my brother. I can't wait to chat to you again.
Likewise. Have a good one.
See you,
Thank
brother.
you.
All right, come on, hang
See
on,
you,
Pete.
brother.
Yes, sir. Hang on.
Yes, sir. I ain't going nowhere.
All right, let's go to this. This is from General Consensus, 4 to 6 weeks training into the front lines. That is correct. It's supposed to be 12,
Yep.
but they're having to rotate them in early. And this is a part of the situation we were talking about earlier in the stream. Book IM 40. What is the one piece of equipment that every Ukrainian trooper or soldier wants, but is not readily available? If there was one thing they could have.
If there's one thing that what is one piece of equipment that every soldier wants but can't have or doesn't have?
Yes. We'll get him back in a second. He's coming to us through Starlink, guys. This is going to be an interesting answer. We're going to get him back. There he comes.
Greg, are you there?
Now, tell me, what's the one piece?
Yeah. Something that allows them to see in the dark. So either a night vision headgear, monocular, so PVS 14. So because that can be used on a rifle when they're defending their positions, or a thermal imaging scope. So it's a scope for a rifle or a scope for your head that allows you to see at night. It's being able to see at night, which is an horribly expensive bit of kit. They range from $2,000 to $4,500 averagely. But I can tell you now that's the top wish list for every Ukrainian soldier, because when you cannot see at night, it's the scariest thing in the world to get stormed. When your position is stormed by an enemy and you can't see where you're shooting, you can't see where the enemy is. Yeah, that would be the first thing, and followed by a long list of other things. But that's definitely the list.
Nighttime is brutal.
You
Question
just need to watch some of the videos.
Question from T. Nurka. Is it possible to drop medicine and drones to the soldiers on the front if you can't get them with armored vehicle? Are we able to drop supplies with the drone? We'll get him back. I know the answer to that, by the way. It's yes. A lot of supply is dropped via drone. But I know you want to hear Pete say it, so we'll get him back. I'm reading the questions here. It looks okay. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's Marjorie Taylor Greene was slapped down with that. That's in good. Just Keith, thank you for that, my friend. Terry Gertis 2024. You guys hang on. We're going to get Pete back. I see a super chat here. I'm rolling everywhere. Let me do this. Ian Balchin, thank you for the crew membership while we do this. Papa Dutch, you know how to tell a Russian bot from a fella? You can't super chat with rubles. That's correct. $5. Thank you. Linda S from Australia. Thank you for gifting the 5 memberships. $5 from UTV and Ham. KD9WNV radio call sign. Wishing I could send more Slava Ukraine. Ronnie Vranken, €5, and I will get that to him, Ronnie. Pete, please never change.
Hi, guys. I'm back.
You're fine. Pete, never change. A good part of the world definitely loves you.
Bless you. Thank you.
Papa Dutch is asking you a question, Pete. What is your hat size in centimeters, if you know it?
Goodness me, I do not. I wear a large.
You got a big
medium
head,
to large. Medium. I got a big head, guys. Thank you,
Listen,
Papa.
He's a big dude. Let me tell you guys. When I grab onto him, I'm reaching up. Maybe tomorrow. Danny Carver, thank you for the 5 coffees there. Maybe tomorrow. Member for 2 months. Proud part of this loving community. Hugs to all. Von Rees, $50. Hugs to everyone on the 0 line. He's thinking about a bush hat with some small pockets. Paul Gibbert with 499 pounds. You may be having a hat in my suitcase when I get back to you.
Yeah, Papa, that would be great.
From Papa.
I've got a typical baseball cap here, and it's extended to the to allow it to fit onto my head. You can see the bulge of the strap at the back there.
That's so good. So you can answer.
Thank you.
Is it possible to drop supply with drones to the front?
Yes, we do that regularly.
There you go.
Yeah,
I answered it for you when you left, but I know they want to hear you say it. But yes, Minister for the Recovery.
We take
of
water and food as well. Magazines. Sorry.
Ministry for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets. How are you in the mind? And are you at peace with what you do?
How are you what?
In your mind, and are you at peace with what you do?
Am I at peace with what I do?
Yes.
Absolutely. My mind is good, thank you. Yeah, I'm completely here. My heart just aches and bleeds for the brothers out there that are undergoing this absolute tsunami of destruction at the moment. But yeah, I'm good, and it'll be our turn. We're going back to the front very soon, in about 2 weeks, I'm led to believe. But I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm all got good people like you behind us.
Exactly, thank you. And he's talking to everybody there. Pete, this is from Leathercat.
Amen.
If we made a patch out of the Cry for Freedom painting, Harry Schneider, thank you for those 3 coffees there. Red, black background, blue handprint holding yellow trident. Would you want one of those patches?
Oh my word, yes. Oh yes, please. Yeah, we got to get you some patches as well, guys. I've got to get some sent out to America where you can send them around. We've got to get onto that.
Pete from M. Dow, we were talking about this earlier, with a lot more people in here now. How's the Army mentally and physically right now? The Ukrainian Armed Forces.
They are tired. They are frustrated. They are desperate to go home and see their families, but they've never been stronger. The spirit, the resilience, their fighting spirit is. You guys, we're in a situation where we hardly get rest. I wouldn't say hardly get rest, but the rest days, the rotations are a bit less across the board, from what I understand. But every time we come off the front, it's a day or 2 of rest, and the guys are gearing to go back. They are eager to go back. Everybody just wants to go back and defend their homeland. It's not a lust for killing. It's not a lust for war and the adrenaline. It's a deep, heartfelt desire to go back and join our brothers on the front. There's a camaraderie out there that you can never put into words. It's a calling. It's a calling in this desperate struggle, this hope, and it's a righteous fight against pure evil, man, and everybody wants to do their bit to stop that evil. And so, yeah, the morale is good. People are just tired, though, sickeningly tired of this.
They're extremely tired of the war.
Extremely tired, but they ain't stopping. They ain't giving up, and they're not going to give up one bit. When discussions of, sorry.
No, you're the man tonight. Yeah. Not giving up. I always tell people, and you tell me if I'm correct, and by the way, there's a comment on the screen, and it's just representative of so many comments. That's why I put it up there. It says, Pete, you are so loved here. So hope you're feeling the love tonight, Pete.
Thank you, brother.
I always tell people that there's 3 reasons the Ukrainian soldiers will never give up and never quit. The first one is they're fighting for their children and their grandchildren. The second is they're fighting for their country, their way of life, their sovereign borders, their culture, their everything. And then the third reason is they're fighting for Oleg and Nikita and Svetlana, who have already given their lives, and these soldiers have made a pact. We're fighting until the end. They're not going to quit, and they're going to honor those that have already given their lives. So that's the 3 reasons I tell people quite regularly why Ukraine will not give up. Is that fairly accurate?
Absolutely. 100% nailed it.
Question from Paivi. How on earth do you stay shaved at the front?
An electric shaver. There's not enough water, but I carry a little electric shaver. It's a trimmer. It's a beard trimmer, and I use it for this and this. Yeah, it's actually not shaved. I've got a 2mm stubble whenever I never ever get cleanly shaved. It's just a 2mm stubble. Yeah.
No, but I will tell you this. I've been around Pete when he's come in right from the zero, and he had a faint aroma, and then he took a shower. Hold on. And then he took a shower, and he's smooth shaven, and he's got the smell of Irish Spring, and it's really good. Jason Thomas, thank you for those 3 coffees. Just a couple more questions, Jason. Pete, because I know it's 1 a.m. your time. Bookham 40, yes, we're going to be talking about this more in the future. It's really not a question for Pete, but 2 Ukrainian colonels arrested in Zelensky's assassination plot. How deep does corruption and Russian sympathies lie in Ukrainian high command? That's pretty high. I mean, it answers itself, but it's a war, and Ukraine also has their people in Russia, and this is not an incursion. This is not a regional war. This is real war, and on so many levels. And one of those levels is espionage and spying and corruption and Russian sympathizers, and the same in Russia, where there are Ukrainian sympathizers. I know some. So it's just the way it is. And that's the way it will continue to be. So let's go with this question, and then let's do this. Ministry for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets. He's got a name.
What a name. I love that.
Do the frontline soldiers talk about conscription or mobilization? Do they talk about it?
No. I've never heard it.
They're focused on their job.
Yeah. Frontline soldiers talk very little. It's always aloof subjects. It's subjects of the ether. You're talking about hamburgers and surfing and kite flying and model aeroplane building. There's never. You'll never find a Ukrainian frontline soldier discussing serious matters at hand. Nobody wants to I don't think it's probably a collective mentality and dream and desire to not. You don't want to bring your buddy down. You don't want to discuss things that could have a negative impact. Everybody's when there is internet, everybody when they have downtime, when their rifles aren't firing, when they're able to be at rest for a few minutes, everybody's on Instagram and YouTube and just trying to dissociate themselves from this brutal reality. Nobody really talks about it.
From my experience being with you and many other units is when you come off position, that's the last thing you want to discuss. You want to have a cup of coffee, you want to eat,
Yes.
you want to sleep, you want to play a game, you want to zone out and
exactly right
and refresh. So last couple of questions. Last couple of questions here. Mitch Ashdown, longtime supporter. Is there an area deep along the front line not occupied by either side? And I mean, I can answer that one. No, it's a 1,000-kilometer long war zone. There are no holes. There are no empty spots. It's horrible.
That is exactly right.
Okay, let's do this now. And there was one more question. It didn't come into my questions, but I did see it from Keith asking about if Ukraine was to lose in the pro, would it be a real problem? That's the generality of the question. And
if Ukraine was to what?
Lose east of the Dnipro, and I will do this just so people know. This is the Dnipro River, guys, and it goes down like this and then out like that. So what you would lose is Chernihiv, Sumy, Poltava, Kharkiv, of course, the Donetsk region, Zaporizhia, sits really on the left side, but a little on the right. Dnipro sits on, when I say the left side here, I mean physically the left, looking at the map.
Yeah.
Kherson's above the river. Mykolaiv, would it affect them? Massively. That river is massive. It is power generation. It's goods. It's ship traffic. It's shipbuilding. That river is everything for Ukraine. And
millions and millions of families, children.
Oh my gosh!
Lively farms, massive swathes of farmland, production of wheat and grain that goes to feeding the world. Massive portions of Africa are fed by Ukraine. God knows what Russia will do with that land.
Exactly.
If they got their filthy hands.
It's
this is why we fight
here. It's sacred land, and
sacred land. Amen.
Hey, you need to say hi to Yana. She's in here.
Yana and Galina. No, I'm not smoking Galina. That was an electronic cigarette you saw. Yana, good evening, my darling.
Oh, dunk on you.
Africa.
He says I'm late to work, but here's 20. Okay, let's do this one. We'll do this comment last. Yeah, the whole left bank Mercy would be a problem, and we're going to be respectful for Pete tonight. Pete,
thank you guys. Yes,
never
sir.
give up. Steve Sinelli said, never give up.
Amen. Thank you,
guys. Here tonight. Thank you for everything. Let's see. I need to make sure I'm caught up here. FM, $5 super chat, and I will get this to Pete, guys. Thank you, Pete. Andrew CH, $5. Shelly Carter, 20, with the message to you. You are amazing. Tito Valenzuela, keep up the good work, Pete, and keep safe, and say hello to your mom. God bless you. That's coming from Tito is Honduras, I believe.
Yes.
Papa Dutch.
¿Cómo está, amigo?
$20. Every time I think no one else I know does good this, throwing good money in a good cause, yeah. But then I look around me and I picture my house that I worked so long to pay for being obliterated by psychos. Really good comment. And that's why we help others. Tanya Rundenko, Canadian, 20. Feeling great because I spent time on the Hope Train. Thank you for that, Tanya. And bless you for all your work. That's Ukrainian. Dunk on you. I'm late. I had to work. Howdy, Pete. Slava Ukraini. Dunk on you, gifting 10 memberships. I'm going to ask you this question just because he gave it with a super chat. Minister for the recovery of stolen toilets. How much How much loo paper do you need on a deployment?
Oh, we goodness me.
A lot.
We a lot. Yeah. We need a lot, but we don't get to use a lot because we don't get to go outside that often.
That's
So,
right. Pivy,
I'll
10
be
euros.
honest.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Shelly Carter,
The
20 on Professor Gertis's channel. And for those of you here on Prof. Gertis, thank you for being here as well. You guys know we partner together and work together.
Lucky, shut up.
And he's telling the dog to shut up there in the middle of the night. So
yeah,
Pete,
keeping the whole bloody battalion awake.
That's okay.
We love
dog.
you, buddy. Yeah.
We love you.
I love you guys. Thank you for the donations, folks.
Is there anything you want to say tonight as you close out with all these people watching around the world?
Thank you for the donations. We need them. Our Mitsubishi Shogun had $900 repair done to it the other day, and it flattened us. We're in the minus at the moment. I know God will provide. Greg, what is that generous individual? The guy from Switzerland? Was it Chad or Charles or something?
Adrian.
Yes, him. He donated. Adrian, if you're watching, thank you for your donation today. I haven't had a chance to reply to you, but to all of you, thank you. There is one thing I'd like to ask the world. Please, when you have a moment, just one simple favor for us. Please pray to God that he will remove these evil spirits from Ukraine.
Amen.
That's it.
Maybe tomorrow. Thank you for amplifying Pete's voice. It's so important for the world to hear his message. That is absolutely correct, especially when there are people out there that want to destroy his message and misrepresent this legend fighting and for all of us around the world. And we will continue to do that. Fortunately,
thank you, guys.
I will give you guys a little insight on Pete.
Blackie, shut up. Sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry.
Pete, although you hear him yelling at the dog, and he's a giant of a man, that you do not want him to put his hands on you, you're in trouble. You're coming out on the wrong end of that fight. But this is a timid man. And the reality is, God divinely connected us. And
amen.
Because of that, he just has he has comfort with me.
Yes.
Am I representing that properly?
One beautifully $1,000,000%.
Yeah. And we're not just friends, we're brothers. And
we're brothers in Christ.
It will stay that way forever. So
some Greg and me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There was a gentleman, John Hill, who delivered all that massive amount of chocolates.
Yes.
He wrote me in a message one day. He said, after watching you and me online, he said, I think you and Greg Terry are the only two true Christian warriors I've ever met in my life. And I'll never forget that compliment.
Well, I remember I was with John there, and he dropped so much chocolate, and this guy's running around Ukraine, and he had come in from France.
Starlinks,
John,
combat
if you're watching
scissors
tonight, we love you. Thank you for all of that.
We love you, John.
Thank you for the kind comments. But I will tell you one thing. When I met John for the first time, and we were way out east, and we were meeting off coordinates, and this was me and John's conversation, and we were coming your direction, and with John and I, we were sitting there and we were talking, and he jumped out of his truck, and I said, hey John, it's Greg here, and it's dark, and its air raid alarm was going off, and he jumps out and goes, hey you
That's what he did. Okay.
And then guess what? He goes, now, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a pastor. He said, oh my God, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It was so good.
Classic John.
Blonde Bombsheller is a faithful follower, supporter, loves Greg and Pete.
Hello, Blonde Bombshell. From
your Cape May kids, Layan, Gracie, and Alex.
Blackie.
All right, there's a bullet getting ready to fly at the dog, guys. Layan, Gracie, and Alex.
A grenade.
Pete is with friends in here. So hello to you guys. Lane Crossland, Canadian 10. Pete, thoughts and prayers for your continued safety in these desperately dangerous times. Slava Ukraini.
Love to you, Elaine.
Guys, thank all
Hero.
of you so much. And we're gonna leave it there.
Thank
Kepi
you.
Blanc fellow, this is the last one. He needs to go to bed before he does throw a grenade on that dog. Pete, great to see you smile.
Great to be here. Thank you for making me smile. All you beautiful, smile-inducing, gorgeous people, you.
We love you,
Thank
buddy.
you for loving Ukraine, guys. You're doing amazing things for Ukraine. Keep spreading the love. Keep spreading the love. You guys are doing love. Love grows. Love is infectious, and we just need to keep spreading the love and the hope and the prayers. Get on the love. Get on the hope train.
Get
Drink
on
Terry
the hope
Experience. I love you
train.
guys.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for continued support. Tonight we'll be pushing this support to Pete. If you want to jump in now and buy a coffee, or you want to, however, direct donation, all of our links are there. We're not pushing heavily donations right now due to the fact I want to get the armored vehicles delivered. That's over a $250,000 project. Pete has got his red light on, ready to move back through the dark to his location. But we'll get everything to Pete and get it to Project Konstantin to help those guys out. They
Can't
just had
wait
some
to
repairs.
see you, Greg. Can't wait to.
Hey, buddy, I'm going to be there very soon, and we will be rolling. Love to you all. And I think we lost him, but I don't. Let me make sure so he can say bye. Well, that's a nice one there. There you go. We got you.
There you
all right,
are.
buddy.
God bless, guys.
Pete,
Mwah. Slava
go to
Ukraini.
Geroim Slava.
God bless.
Go get some sleep.
Thank you,
And
brother.
we'll talk tomorrow. Have a good night.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава.
Героям слава!